Cool, man. All right, so we're gonna dive into Basecamp. And let me just move some of this stuff over. I know you can't see it, but I'm dragging this toolbar. All right, cool. So I guess first things first is that when you log into Basecamp, it just, and again, the whole purpose of this thing, just to set the stage for why we're doing this. And Father Evangelos knows this, but one of the main reasons why I didn't ever want to get involved was because it was so disorganized, and it just drove me completely insane to go through all the emails. It was, you were going around your elbow to get to your ass, and I'd never like that. Like, that's not me. I can't deal in those worlds. So pretty much once he agreed that he would allow it to kind of go into Basecamp, and I don't care what platform we're using, Monday.com, Basecamp, Trello, Asana, it could be any of the major project management platforms, Atlassian. It doesn't matter to me. I don't want to be an email cowboy where we're trying to track down what thread, and it, once it gets centralized, I don't even check my email, dude, like at all. Like, if you send me an email, most likely I'm not going to get it, just simply because I'm dealing in projects and I can't just be always tracking down people's emails. So that's the premise behind why we're doing this. But yeah, they've got a Mac app, for desktop, Windows, tablet. I mean, anything, whatever, it's there. So, and then you just sign in with your username and your password. And then if you ever forget your username or password, you just click I forgot, and you never have to bother me about it or any of the project managers, because you just click forgot password and it'll send you one. So, and it'll look similar to this, but most likely it'll just put you right into the project when you get in. And this is what I called it, Share the Faith STF project. So yeah, this is just the overview of it, but you've got 7, they call them tools. So Grand Central, this acts as email. This is email. That's what that is. I'll give an overview and then we'll go back and look at each one. And then you have scopes. Scopes are, people call it like chunking up work. You could chunk up different types of work. Like, for example, if you wanted to set up a content marketing campaign, you could chunk it up by quarters. You could chunk it up by months. In other words, people think of it as a to-do list, but it's not really a to-do list. It's a way to help organize your thoughts about what you're trying to work on. You could do all types of things in there. So that's scopes. So for example, if I assign you something like, hey, and we'll go through a couple of these things as well. If I say something like, hey, go out and gather all the social media URLs for the brand and put them here, then I would assign that as a to-do for you, like by a certain date. And then you would go through and you would click done.
Would there be different folders for different people, or?
No. So the philosophy behind Basecamp is that it's 100% transparent, like it's open, so everybody can see everything.
Okay.
And there's a lot of reasoning behind that. I mean, I've been in, if you need to have a private conversation with someone about something particular, then it's just a phone call. Just a phone call is good.
Or an email.
Yeah, or an email.
Sometimes it's nice record of things.
Yeah, for sure. And I get it.
Recall a to-do list, for example, but I understand this is primary.
Yeah, and Basecamp, as far as the way it flows and how you get into the to-do list, it's a little bit archaic. It feels a little bit outdated in some areas because there's not a snappy type vibe to it like Monday.com and some others. But the premise behind the whole thing is that like, for example, a meeting. So like, we should only be meeting to approve or discuss things that we've already had time to churn over and kind of chew on before we actually get to the meeting. And this helps provide that level of deep analysis on certain things where it's written down, and like you can actually go back and look at, hey, what's this opinion, what's that opinion, what's this opinion. So when you come to the meeting, you don't really have to deal with all that because it's already been hashed out like in here. So
Sure.
that's scopes. And then resource hub, pretty much just think of that as documents and files. That's pretty much what that is.
Mhm.
So I've already uploaded a bunch of documents in here, or
Okay, I understand, but there's also the thought that it's more organized than a bunch of emails all over the place.
100%. It's like, where's that document? Well, it's right here. It's inside here.
Yeah, because
Like I've
I've
got,
just working an office job and some emails slipped through the cracks and it caused some problems. And I'm like, well, you're dealing with how many emails? The person who I was substituting for virtually never deleted an email from his inbox. So I was dealing with for 2,000 emails. And I'm like, well, that's what I have to deal with. So
yeah, no, I get it. Chat is exactly what it sounds like. It's instant messaging. So like if you knew that I was on, you could just shoot me a chat right there and we could chat it up. Calendar is exactly what that is. So when we start having meetings, it's all going to go through here. There's some cool functionality as well, like in the calendar, which I'll get into, but you could sync it up to a Google Calendar. You could sync it up to whatever you want, iCal, Outlook, whatever. Um, automatic check-ins. I moved it actually while we were talking here, excuse me, but automatic check-ins is pretty much what it does is that it will send out a kind of a blanket notification to everybody that I want it to, and say, hey, is everybody ready for the meeting, like, or whatever. And then everybody would respond. So I set up
I,
automatic check-ins for like our financial meetings and stuff.
I think the best idea for the calendar is just to link it to Google Calendars in Gmail.
Well,
If we
everybody
can.
has their own option.
Oh, everybody has an option.
Yeah, it's completely individualized. So
Have Outlook that would make sense.
yeah, so it provides a lot of autonomy to people and gets away
Mhm.
from the micromanagement type of a vibe.
Yeah.
And then the email forwards. So for example, if if you wanted to share an email, there's an address that you could literally from your email inbox, you could just forward it to that address and it would show up in the project. So like if you wanted to remind yourself of something or you had something you didn't want to forget, you could literally
Mhm.
just paste that email address in and hit send and it would go in here and you could pull it and deal with it from inside.
Mhm.
So it's a good feature. One of the major kind of, so that's the overall situation with the tools. Um, the second piece I think that most people struggle with is the notifications. So again, it's completely individualized. So I have all email notifications for any project turned off. Like I don't want to get any, because I live inside of Basecamp pretty much. So I don't want to be getting a notification every single time somebody makes a comment or somebody makes a to do or they do this or do that. So I set mine to only give me a weekly summary from Basecamp once a week. So I can see what happened on a project or in a particular team for that week. And so that's how I do it. I've got mine scaled back to just once a week. But when you log in, what you'll do is you'll come up into here and I believe, let me try to see what we do here. I think you go, I don't know, I need to get into that. When you log in and when you get set up, you'll get an email and it'll say, pause these notifications, like in the footer of the email, just click that and you can go into your profile and turn that off. But I would highly recommend to fine tune that. So yeah, so we'll jump in to Grand Central. So these are all auto posted, just
Yeah.
messages that I use. I have templates that I launch and stuff. So it's
Okay.
like how to, posting messages using Grand Central, how to use instant messenger. It actually needs to say chat. understanding Google Drive, what is Basecamp, how to use it, commenting on to-dos, groups, and phases. So pretty simple stuff. But if you were to come in here and you wanted to write an email to everyone, like, let me just go ahead and add you actually to the project. So I'm gonna add, I may add you to the team later, but I'm gonna add you as a client right now. Let's see. What was your last name?
Tweeten. TWETEN. Yep.
Perfect. And then it was it Eric Tweeten or Tweeten at gmail.com?
Tweeten. Yep. At Gmail.
So E what? I'm sorry.
E and then my last name at Gmail.
Gotcha. All right, so that's what it should look like. So I'll preview the email. That's what it's going to look like, and you'll get an email to that. And then I'll click send now.
Okay.
So what would happen is that, and eventually I think once everybody gets on board, there'll be certain people that would kind of act as administrators, like within the project, where you could go in and basically becoming an administrator, it gives you certain rights that are over and above the client, like access. So you could make scopes and you could do all different types of stuff, which we absolutely will do. But for example, if I wanted to go and make a new message, you've got choices here. You could pick only our team. So my team right now is just me. So again, I've just got to figure out if I'm going to put everybody on the team or keep everybody as a client. But I'm going to click on allow the client to see this. And then you're going to pick a category. So these are all the categories. Basically, it just kind of, it's a way to sort stuff when you're looking through information. So I'm just going to make an announcement and I'm just going to say, welcome. That's like the title of the email, hello all. And then if I wanted you to get notified of something, I could @ you. So @ symbol, then you,
Okay.
thanks for joining and doing the Zoom call with me. And then I'll just put here, and I could either save it as a draft or go ahead and post it. Now everybody's going to get this message, but I've put you in there to make sure that like, you see it or whatever. So now when you go over to Grand Central, you can see that this little yellow tag right here, everybody can see. So that's kind of one way to do that. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. So what would end up happening is that if we had a discussion going on about how many times a year we were going to have the financial meeting, that we would start a topic, and then everybody would just come in the discussion and they would just write whatever it is that they want to write. I agree or I disagree or whatever, and it keeps everything in one thread. So that's the benefit of the Grand Central thing. So see like how you can sort through announcements, bugs, questions, ideas, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's bounce over to scopes. And this is super high level, so there's a lot more in here. But
Sure.
I went ahead and created this scope right here.
Mm-hmm.
And right now it says just this to-do list is private. So I'm going to change that and allow client to see, which of course is you. And I'm going to put in a to-do here, gather all social media URLs and profiles and post them into the response below. And then I'm going to assign it to you. And I'll take a notification whenever you're done, because I want to know. And then I'll say, next Friday. And then I could say, let me know if there's anything you need. And then I'll add that to do. So then that's assigned to you.
Okay. That's interesting because, I can search, obviously I can search share the faith, but that's a pretty generic term. And we have links in the emails and everything, but there's obviously YouTube, etc. And as far as gathering those URLs, I don't think we have a good enough search engine optimization for there to be just a Google search for that.
Yeah. And I mean, like, for example, if you needed help with it and, you're definitely going to need some help with it, you're going to have to contact Father Evangelos. So you would start a discussion here and you would at him and say, hey, can you help me out in gathering this information? Over the years, I know you've got Twitter or this or that, and I've actually got some of that info that I could help you out with as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how you make it to do. So pretty simple.
Another thing though is we should communicate, hey, instead of assigning tasks to one person, let's just assign certain tasks to everybody and say, hey, let's all chip in on this. If you got something, post it. That way we're not trying to track everybody down and just it becomes more of an identity and title thing where we're doing things that could much more quickly be done by the collective. So
Yeah, and in those cases, sometimes like a to-do could literally be assigned to multiple people.
yeah, you can just say if you have a URL to such and such, or to share the faith, post it here in comments and let's collect them together as a group. That would be a lot quicker, I think, for something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and the nuances of like I said, chunking work down and assigning work or assigning a to do or not signing a to do, or how you're pitching that. Been there, done that. I mean, like, so I'm on board with what you're saying, like your thought processes behind it might be better to kind of like include people, and all of that will just have to it'll work itself out. It'll work itself out. I wouldn't really be too concerned about how all that's going to break down, but
Yeah,
I
sure, yeah.
can't, yesterday whenever you joined or whatnot, and you were because I really didn't want to. I just wanted to be on the board of advisors,
Okay.
not really on the board. And then they kind of asked me about it yesterday, and I felt like it was God's will, because I've basically been involved in the project for maybe over 6 or 7 years. And anyway,
Right.
when they asked you about it, I could have gone two ways with that. One way was I almost jumped in and said, look, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend joining the board right now for you, because I know that miscommunication and a failure to kind of execute, what that does is that in that urgency thing that Father Evangelos tends to run on a lot, where he's super urgent about everything and it has to get done like now, like that
Okay.
type of vibe it can be poisonous, because it will seep, like it makes people stress out for no reason. This is a cause for love, and this type of project management platform helps provide a little bit of stability and clarity towards that.
Okay.
And but on the other hand, going back to you kind of being on the board and stuff, there was a huge part of me that was selfish, and I really wanted you to be on the board because I really needed a younger individual. So I'm just forewarning you that most likely you and I will probably be explaining a lot like how to do this or how to do that. I mean, it
Yeah.
might take you 3 hours to get up to speed with this platform, and
Mhm.
it might take another person, 40 hours. And I'm not exaggerating. Just depends on how much.
I think we're more up to speed on missional concepts as well, as opposed to ethnic concepts, as you had mentioned. But that's just part of being um, young in America and wanting to have a type of orthodoxy that's more absorbable, for the primarily English speaking uh, member,
We have to reach people, man. We just have to reach people. And there's a huge, I wouldn't say huge, but there's a significant amount of content creators, Orthodox content creators that are kind of coming out of the woodwork right now. So it's a really good time to get involved
Mhm.
and start coming up with, like we can do interviews. I plan on, doing interviews. We're going to start a podcast with Father Evangelos. There's all different types of things we're going to be working on. But
Mhm. A YouTube channel besides just one video.
yeah, an actual YouTube channel that's consistent in producing content and publishing content. But
That
but
adds value besides just what we do. If we like Father Evangelos was saying, and he was very wise to say that, he was saying, if we add value, then people will want to invest. And I think one thing that we can do is invite Orthodox guest speakers. Like,
even non-Orthodox.
we could do that. I mean, for the
But
sake of
let's save all that for another day. So I want to let's stay focused on the Basecamp thing, and I can get through it and end the video, and then we'll go into the strategy and whatnot. So
okay.
that's the to-do stuff. But if, to your point, and I'll circle back to what you were saying, if you've got something that you kind of want to discuss, what I would recommend is just put it as a grand central message and let people chime in before you figure out kind of the angle of attack that you're going to attack something like the podcast. I would start that topic probably in grand central and get
Mhm.
that discussion going and let everybody chime in, and then start a to do, later at some point about whatever it is that we decided. So that's that.
And the to-dos are the scopes.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. I always found that the word to do was scary.
To
Um,
be.
right. So I got rid of it and changed it to scopes. So this is the resource hub. Um, these are folders. So none of them have been shared yet. I'll share this one in just a moment. But for example, if you were to come in and you wanted to start a folder with a bunch of files in it, it could be photos or videos. I'm going to put all the Zoom calls in one of these photos, or I'm sorry, one of these folders. The other thing that we would do is we would put the minutes. So the minutes would go as a document like inside of here. So you would just
Yeah.
click on new, and then you could either start a new doc or make a new folder.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't recommend uploading anything unless it's already been written down in a Word document or something like that, which I've kind of done. So start a new doc or make a new folder.
Or a formal document like a PDF or a Word file or
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah, exactly. So under contracts and legal, I'll just go ahead and change this to allow the client to see. So now everybody can see this. And these are the documents that I need Father Evangelos to actually upload in their raw form instead of just a photograph of them. Um,
A scanned version.
I took a picture. It was really just a reminder to myself to go back and get this done. So I just uploaded them in here just for an example, but I do have the original documents. I'll get them in there eventually.
Okay.
But
Do
for
you, do
example, do
you
what?
have a do you have a scanner?
Um, yeah, I have a scanner, but
Okay.
I've got the actual like the electronic file for
Oh,
all those. But like I said, it's just a reminder, just as a placeholder.
good.
So let's start a new folder, and then
Mhm.
we'll call this meeting minutes. Click save. And then I'll change it so that everybody can see it.
Mhm.
And then I'll start a new doc. And then I'll say, actually, it only needs to be the date, which was yesterday. Was that the 13th or was that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is an example,
Mm.
and you can go back in and add your notes from yesterday's meeting.
Yeah, one thing about that, just as a side note, we need this when someone gives a motion or a second, it would be nice if people would state their names, because I can't tell who it is just by someone's voice, and I'm still learning faces. So
Cool.
some people don't have their video, and I'm not associating a voice with a face or a name.
Yeah, that's for sure. And so like something like that for that communication, just put it up in Grand Central and then
Mhm.
just be like, hey, I just want to let everybody know, it'd be cool if people could do this and do it there. So yeah, everybody will know. So I'll post that document. All right, so that's meeting minutes. That's how you make a document and put a folder in the resource hub. All
Okay.
right, what else do we got? So chat, I'm going to change this to everyone. And if I wanted to say, hey, Romanos, are you, online right now working on share the faith? And then that would ping you.
Okay. Yeah.
So
On notification on my phone or whatnot.
yeah,
Have the app or-
whatever app you have or notification you have turned on.
Mhm.
So it could be your desktop, it could be your mobile. You could even get an email if somebody ever mentions you, in a chat or whatnot.
That's good. And what if if I clicked on that in my email, would it go directly to this app? Would it log me in automatically, or would I have to save the login for that to do that?
Well, it works like any other app. So like you would have your login credentials that would just be permanently saved, to the app. And
Okay.
unless you were logging in through the mobile browser like Chrome or Firefox or whatever mobile browser you used in your mobile device. But yeah,
Mhm.
think of it like Zoom. You're kind of like always logged in and you can turn off notifications or turn them on, at will, however you prefer. But one other feature I wanted to share with you real quick and I kind of had forgotten about this, but if you wanted to ping me real quick, just privately, instead of doing an email, you could actually click my name, just,
Okay.
for demonstration purposes here, it's you, but I could literally click on ping Romanos and it would just be between me and you.
Okay.
So that's just between you and I. We could share stuff, talk about things,
Mhm.
etc.
So we're not overwhelming the chat room.
Exactly.
A separate project done, and then bring it to Grand Central or whatnot.
We could, yeah, we could hash it out, but also we could hash things out like in the scope. So for example, here in social media, like if I wanted to group this down, I could put a group in here and just call this Facebook. So everything underneath here would belong to Facebook. So I
Okay.
could also do another group just for Twitter.
And then
And
we could have our links in there as well.
yeah, you would just post your links up in the to-do. So when you go to the to-do, you would literally just post, this is the link, twitter.com/ share the faith. And then you would just click add comment.
Mm.
And then it would go in there like that. And then once they were all in there, that you would just click mark is done.
Yeah.
So, and you could arrange these however you want. You could put things underneath another one, so on and so forth. And then essentially what would happen is that if this got too large, you could literally make a scope just for Facebook.
Okay.
And again, this is all, adult type thinking. It's like, hey, we call it chunking, like at my work. How do you want to chunk it out? You want to chunk the whole thing out in a scope, or do you want to chunk the thing out into groups, which is under a scope? It's all personal preference.
Yeah, like you said, if it gets too big, you can create a full scope for it.
Exactly. So calendar, we're gonna go ahead and we'll put the next meeting in
Mhm.
into the calendar, which was, I've got it right here, May 11th.
Yeah.
So I'll click on May 11th, click add a new event, allow client to see. So this is going to be website design draft review.
Mhm.
And we said that it was, I think, 1:30 Eastern time,
Okay,
but I've got my calendar to synced up with Arizona time, so I need to adjust for that. So that's going to be 10:30 for me. Let me get up here. So 10:30 a.m. and then it ends 11:30. Doesn't repeat. With who? I'll put you in there as well. And let's actually go ahead and get this scheduled up inside of Zoom.
you can do that right from here.
Yeah, I'm going to do it right now. So do you see my Zoom window right now that's on the screen?
I do not.
Okay, it's hidden because I'm doing screen share, but I'm typing it in. So
Okay.
let's see. So May 11th, give me one moment.
Yeah.
All right, so we said 10:30.
So can I click on the Zoom meeting from this app, from
It'll be inside the app, yes.
inside the Basecamp?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, generate automatically. Okay. All right, so then what I'll do in the notes is I'll say, um, discussion topics,
Mhm.
and I'll just put, 1, 2, 3 as an example, and then I will paste in,
The link.
yeah, I'm pasting in the Zoom stuff. So here's all the Zoom information.
Mhm.
I'll
It's
just
not.
put,
So when you say that, when you save it, it'll be a link. At this point, you can't just click on that like a link.
yeah, I think most markdown editors just automatically assume that you want to hyperlink it. And once you save it, it does that. There's some WYSIWYG editors like within other platforms that don't save things like that as links, but I remember Full Sail actually, out of all places, they don't automatically convert your URL into a hyperlink, which is really annoying.
Mm. Okay. Now, did you take the multimedia track or did you do something specific?
It was digital marketing.
Okay. That's kind of like multimedia.
Yeah, I'm sure it's really similar.
Yeah. Multimedia is a larger field than just graphic arts or video.
Sweet. So I'll post that event up. So that's in here. So, and if you wanted to add this, this particular calendar, to your calendar, let's just walk through that real quick. So for Google Calendar, you would obviously click here. I might have moved too quickly. So again, add this schedule to your Google Calendar. You just click it, click Google Calendar, you copy this link, and you come over to your Google Calendar. Which I can access it by going here. Then you scroll to other calendars right here on the left-hand side. You click the plus symbol,
Mm-hmm.
and then you click on from URL,
Mm-hmm.
and you paste it in. So the calendar's now added, so you can come down here for your other calendars. And it now says Share the Faith project. And it's synced up with your calendar. So let's go back and double check. So see how I have these to-dos now showing up in my calendar?
Mhm.
And then if we go to May, right here, it says website design draft review. So the meeting automatically gets imported into my Google Calendar.
Mhm.
So that's how that would work. And then of course, there's anything that has a date for to do, it shows up. Like even if it's a to do and it has an assignment date, it'll show up in the calendar.
Mm.
All right, so, and then email forwards, as we talked about before, essentially what you would do is you would come in here, you would copy this email. So I'll actually go ahead and do it now. So let's just do an example. I'm going to bounce over here to all of the emails that I get from Father Evangelos under clients. Share the faith.
These are newsletters from clients or that Share the Faith newsletter?
It's just one of my Gmail filters that I've got
Okay.
on the back end. But like, for example, if I wanted to share this one with all of these important documents, which he sent on April the 12th. So what I'll do is I'll just go over here to forward and I'll literally just paste that email in.
Okay.
And I like to get rid of some of this junk, but I will tell you that anything you write, like if you wanted to say, I need to do this later, if it's above the forwarded line, it won't show up in Basecamp. It's everything below the forwarded message.
Oh,
So
okay.
let's just
Kinda-
test it and see. So I click sent. And now we're going to go back to the project. And let's just click refresh. It's not showing up yet.
There must be a lag time or something.
Probably with all the documents, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Obviously.
I'll make sure it was sent. Yeah, it was. Okay. Let's refresh it one more time.
I'm in learning mode, so I feel a little sheepish, to be honest.
Oh, you're good. But here it is. It showed up under email forwards. So this is what it looks like. And then you could click on it. And you literally, it's just convenient. You can go and pull information from the emails and make documents from it or whatever. So that's that.
Okay.
I'll change this to available to view. Okay, so those are all the tools. Those are all the tools for Basecamp. The last items pretty much that you want to be aware of is this little bar up here, or what's called home pings, hey, activity, my stuff, and find. If you're ever looking for something, just click on find and type it in. Like if I type in STF or share the faith, it's going to start pulling down a couple of options. It's got a project, it's got a couple of results. I could even type in your name. It's going to show me people, search results. So like I said, if you're looking for something, you could use the find option. Activity is kind of cool because you can actually go, like if you were wondering what I've been doing, or you're trying to just figure out, like, did I get anything? Did I finally get that document done or whatever it is? You can just say someone's assignments or to-dos added and completed, blah, blah, blah. Hey is all your notifications. So anything that's just like that you need to see, it comes up in here. Pings are conversations that you have between your colleagues, like myself and you. And home is home, obviously. And then there was one other thing. Oh, one of my favorite features that I tend to do a lot is I pretty much come to the project like square front and center with the tools here, and I just scroll down. So it shows me the project activity. So I know who's been working on what, and I just view the timeline. Like that's how I see things.
Dude, I really appreciate this, and I really like this platform, and I'll tell you why. I was a part of a ministry one time, and they had like 5 different platforms just to do this, just, and like this like sums everything up, this one platform we're working on right now.
Yeah.
And that it was just overwhelming. It's like
It's
they
it's
had,
ridiculous how many people have so many things out there. It slows things down, man. And don't get me wrong, Basecamp, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, dude, if somebody from my crew says, hey, I did this or I did that, and I'm just asking them, like, is it in Basecamp? And if they say no, I say it doesn't exist. Like, it doesn't exist. If it's not in Basecamp, it doesn't exist, period. Like if you did like mind mapping or you're trying to figure out a strategy, and it's not in Basecamp, and it doesn't exist, period. So
although
yeah,
Dropbox is helpful, especially with larger
yeah, it's
files.
helpful for sharing files, but even that too, it's too expansive. You know, there's a certain linear nature of Basecamp. I mean, like if you were to go to Resource Hub, for example, and I'll just demonstrate this with you really quick, like I can literally link up a Google, do what?
You have both Google Drive and Dropbox, right? In, is that Resource Hub? Is that part of,
It
is
is,
that
it,
Basecamp?
it's part of Basecamp, but my point with that is that if like, for example, you know, cause I've hashed this out a lot with my team, you know, if I share, you know, like screw it, we'll just do it right now. If I go over here to Google Drive and I
Okay.
go to my shared drives, I actually want to view them as thumbnails. Let's go down to share the faith, which is right here.
Okay.
Let's just say, so I've got some stuff under recent documents. Like, let's say I want to share this. So I right click it and I click on get link. So
Mhm.
first of all, the person that's sharing the link has to be responsible in changing the link privacy settings to make sure that other people can view it. So
Okay.
there's a layer of complexity there that you really don't need. That's why we stopped doing it this way.
And you probably wouldn't want either.
Yeah, so here's my point. So now I'm going to choose anyone with the link, which is fine. I mean, no
Okay.
worries, right? So I click copy link and I'm going to go over to Basecamp
Mhm.
and I'm going to click Google Drive. I'll type in the title. This is, you know, testing document. If I paste it in,
Okay.
um, it is there, but the point is that it took me 5 minutes when I could have just uploaded the document straight to Basecamp.
Okay. Is
You
that,
see,
but is that multiple documents? Is that a file?
so that's one file.
So that's helpful in a
It
way.
is, it is, but I mean, believe me when I tell you that if that person does not, number one, it doesn't copy like the title of the document. So you have to remember what that document title is and put it in here, which is kind of annoying. The other thing too is you got to remember to change the sharing of that particular file, because if
Okay.
you're not part of canopydigital.com's Google Workspace hub, then
Mhm.
even if I make that link shareable to my team members, the only way for you to see it that just has a Gmail or anybody else that doesn't have a Gmail is to basically take off all privacy from that document. And if that link was ever found by somebody online, they could
Mess it up.
essentially, yeah, it
Yeah.
just, like I said, it adds a layer of complexity that I just never found really useful. So we don't do this anymore with like sharing of the Google Drive type stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. So what's, can you demonstrate what the better way to go about that is within Basecamp?
Yeah, so if you know, contracts and legal. So I'll just upload a couple of things in here. So you would just click on new, and then you would just click on upload files.
Okay.
And from here you would select, let me just get into where I need to go. You know, you would select,
This is recent documents within. And can you select more than one document? Is that
Yeah, you
possible?
can do this, you know,
Control and select.
yeah, or command if you're on a Mac.
Okay, yeah. Are you on a Mac or?
Yeah,
Okay,
I have like a gaming PC. I've got a Mac. I've got all
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Suppose you probably have a Alien then.
What?
Alien PC.
Oh, I call it a gaming PC, but it's an Asus motherboard. Like it's pretty good. I could upgrade it if I wanted to, but and it's got like a
Alien is a brand of gaming PC, to my knowledge.
yeah, I guess I use the term gaming PC because that's pretty much what we use it for now. So it's got some good specs on it, but it's an Asus branded piece of hardware.
Okay.
But you can rip the thing open and I mean, it's got 16 gigs of RAM on it right now, and I've got like a GTX NVIDIA graphics card and a couple
Yeah.
of other things on there. It's not like super high end, but it's enough for me, and I'm not a gamer. So, but anyway, so you just select the document as you were asking about and just click open.
Okay.
And the cool thing is that it pulls in the title and then you would just add any notes. You could even ping somebody. Like if I wanted you to make sure to see it, I could just ping you like as I'm uploading it. And then
Okay.
down here, you could say, when I post this, don't notify anyone or let me choose who to notify. So I'm going to notify you. I've got the checkbox there, click save and click post to project.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how you would upload an actual document,
Mhm.
but that
What are
pretty much
so
wraps it up.
within that project? Could I just say notify all? Is there a button for that? Just notify all?
Um,
Or
so the uploading the file process is
Mhm.
slightly different from like a Grand Central message.
Okay.
So for example, if you were to we want everybody to know what you're writing. I mean, literally all you do is you just come in, you click new message, you just click allow all, and that goes to all automatically.
Okay.
Um, down here, you know, you could change it. It's a manual thing, but just by default, everybody's notified of a Grand Central message.
Okay. So it's not even necessary.
Yeah, it's not necessary to do it in the Grand Central, but if you were to go to, like I said, the resource hub and you
Yeah.
were uploading a new document, by
Mhm.
default, Basecamp doesn't think that it's necessary to notify when you upload documents, which I agree with. I don't want to be notified when people are just putting up documents or not. So that's
Oh,
disabled by default in the document hub.
yeah, I understand. It's not a notification that's just later checked. It'll actually notify you on your phone or your device
Well, it never will,
unless you select that.
unless I go in manually and select notify you when I upload this. Like if you're waiting for a document and I want you to see it, I'll typically add your name to it so
Yeah.
that, because I know you're waiting for something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's how it breaks down.
Mm, it's good. I like it.
Yep.